I got to read your book, Playing Small, and I thought you had some really amazing um, pieces in it.
Thank
You
you.
know, just in things that actors need to come to the table with, and you really spend a lot of time on mindset.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about mindset of the actor because you kind of hit on it a little bit, but um, let's start with one of, since you coach a lot of actors and they're older, a lot of them are older.
Yeah. Most of
um,
them are. Yeah.
what are maybe three or four different negative things that you see off the bat?
Well, I think the best way to answer that is I'll just quickly list the 7 major fears that I speak about in my book that I feel prevent us from going to our next level, whatever that is. And I challenge anybody I work with and my readers, of course, to just check in, do a self check in to see which one or ones resonate. And that's fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of success, fear of not being good enough, fear of competition, fear of not having enough, and fear of time running out. And you would think it's the senior citizens who are thinking about the time running out. No, it's the 25-year-olds who are worried about that. And I talk about this up front in the book and in my approach to my offering as a coach out here in these online streets. Because a lot of times there's so many coaches who are, and look, we need scene study classes, and we need craft, and we need the Meisner, and we need all of that. However, I found that a lot of people were not talking about what was really real. And this is the stuff that we're thinking at night when we're home alone, or that we're thinking before every audition, right? If you think if you have a fear of failure, then you'll never start. You'll be that forever student or the one who just keeps talking about it, never does it. Fear of judgment. You'll be surprised how many people are like, I don't want to put that out there. I don't want people to judge me. You're being judged every day. Every audition is a judgment. Like it just, but it's like, okay, wow, I didn't realize that was a thing for me. I'm afraid to be seen. So if you're afraid to be seen, you can self-sabotage anywhere by any one of these things on the list. Fear of success. Well, what if I get this one gig and then what are people going to say? What are people going to think of me? What will my family say? I booked one gig and now people are asking, when's my next one? I don't know. My family's teasing me. Like, when are you going to give up this acting thing? And you just, like all these things, the pressure, people are going to want to borrow money from me. Like this, it can go down the rabbit hole of thoughts that, and then you don't even realize why you're half assing with your audition because something like this is on you. Fear of not being good enough. I think that's a really challenging one because no one wants to really ask that question of themselves. Am I good enough? We started this interview about, being sad and believing in ourselves and all this stuff. But what happens if you really don't? What happens if you're saying that out loud to people, but really at the core of it, you haven't booked the last 10 things you auditioned for or the last 100, and you're starting to question, am I kidding myself? Am I even good enough? But do we really want the answer? And what are we prepared to do with that? And so that I've seen that stop people from not doing auditions. I'll have a client and I'll say, what, that's great. You got an audition. What happened? Well, I didn't do it because I didn't know about this one part. I didn't know what to do. And they figure just why bother? I'd rather, because if I don't want to submit a bad audition, because then they'll never call me back. And then it's the fear of competition. We already know you're too busy looking at somebody over here and over there. That's the thing. At least since we're not in the room as much anymore for film and TV, in my book, I have a chapter called Waiting Room Warfare, where I describe what it's
Oh
like
yes. Oh
to
yes.
walk into the room, into the hallway and sign in and see every actor you've ever seen on TV and, all the things and the people's trying to psych you out. At least for film and TV, we don't have to deal with that much, even for Broadway and going to cattle calls. But still, there's the warfare of your mind that is talking you out of stuff. And the fear of not having enough, again, that comes from, for me, lack, limited thinking. I can't help you. And that's where people are often very surprised at how much I share. I've had friends like, girl, you giving away all the goods. I'm like, it's not mine to give. Like, it's not mine. And I operate in abundance. Like we could all go to the beach with buckets and fill up with sand, and there's still gonna be plenty of sand left for everybody else. I know I'm one of a kind, wonderful, never duplicated. God was took extra special
Amen.
time over here, so I'm like, I would like God is not limit. Are we limiting God and what God has available? Like so, but that energy of lack is dark, and people carry that, and it impacts their own career. And then, of course, like I said, fear of time running out. So afraid that it's too late for you. And I've coached people from young people, and again, I mostly coach adults. But I have 70-year-old clients, people who have just retired, and they're like, okay, Christine, the kids are gone, or I'm divorced, or I'm starting over, and it's my time. And it's the most beautiful thing to see because they're the ones who are not even thinking about time running out. So those are just some of the things. And this is why my book starts with these early. And I know a lot of times, and I'm aware in this coaching space too, that I'm not always, this isn't the sexy stuff that people want to raise their hand and say, I want to buy or take this class. Even when people do take a scene study or something that I'm offering, I always end up getting back here like, why are you holding back? What? And then I just have a, similarly to Freddie, my mentor, I have a way of feeling people's energy and like putting my finger right on the sore spot. And they're like, I don't. And I've had people say, I didn't sign up for this. I came to take. I thought this was a scene study class. I didn't come for therapy. And that's. But when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and truthful to yourself, it's amazing what can change even within your art. That's why I love, there's a book by Susan Batson, the coach. Her book is called Truth. And what I love about that is she challenges you. She says every character has a, 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 a need. Every character has a need. And of course, tragic flaw and all these things. But the need is so powerful to me because we have a need too. And if we haven't figured that out, again, it takes me back to Freddie Hendrix. If you don't love yourself, how can you love your art? How can you put love into your characters? So yeah, the mindset. It's a lot.
I love it. I also love because I'm a big believer in this. I've always believed in this. Is what's for you, no one can take from you, and that stops the lack. Because if
Absolutely.
you know that it's your job, I mean, I've walked in the room, I've known it was mine. I came in with that before law of attraction. I came to Los Angeles as a teenager, 18 years old, not really knowing anything, but I knew I was supposed to be here.